Ahem.
I have the worst. Okay, I'm fine. Welcome back to Duel of the Debates, where we're going to maybe kill each other, but not really because we're just nerds and we just want to talk.
The day is young.
We're here to have fun.
We just want to talk, okay?
All right.
And then it never ends up, they just start
Is that what you
talking.
say when the authorities show up?
Yeah.
Well,
We're taking this to the street.
Yeah, I guess so.
all right. I'm Dan.
Step up to the streets.
I'm Dan. Welcome to Duel of the Debates.
Danny, by the
Hey,
way.
you've already heard our guests. They were here last week. They're back again for round 2. We got Sydney and Paul back. So we are. Last week was a fun one. That was best athlete turned actor. That's the thing.
Seems like just yesterday.
Seems like just yesterday. I mean, you guys are even wearing the same clothes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I only have like 3 shirts.
We like to stay consistent. I have 2 shirts.
All right.
I only have 1 pair of underpants.
Oh my God.
That was my favorite bit.
Turn them inside out.
SNL with Larry David was playing Bernie.
That has
Okay, but
nothing
we're
to
not
do with what we're talking
that.
about.
We're talking about a debate.
Well,
Yeah, we don't
sorry.
even know what the debate is.
Or the duels. Anyway, we're gonna get to the debate
Sidetrack.
in just a second. Let's get to it. All right, today's topic: worst plot twist.
Oh, fuck
So
yeah.
this
I got
is-
this one in the bag.
We'll see, Danny. We will see.
No, I
but
do.
worst
I
plot
do.
twist, we're talking about things that happen in a movie that are just like, why did that happen? What? This makes no sense, and it may or may not ruin the movie. So let's talk about it. Paul,
Hi.
what did you pick?
I picked M. Night Shyamalan's Signs.
Signs. Interesting. Okay. Danny.
I picked Remember Me.
All right. And Sydney.
I picked Contact.
Want to take a ride?
Okay. We have a very interesting crop of things here. Crop of things.
crop.
Jeez. Movies. That's
got it.
it. Yeah, so let's get into our opening statements. Danny, you're going to start. So you are on the clock.
I'm on the. Okay, so if anybody doesn't know, this twist and Remember Me, 9/11 happens at the end for no reason. It literally has nothing to do with the story. It's a dark, like kind of dramatic romance movie between these 2 people who find each other in weird circumstances. And then to drive home a point of like you don't know what you got, or if somebody can affect your everybody else's life, it's like a domino effect. 9/11 happens to kill the main character off right at the very end. To drive the point home, you could have just had him die literally any other way, and it would have fit narratively. The amount of work that they had to do to actually place this entire movie that was filmed in like 2009, 2010, in 2001, just for the dumb twist is actually astronomical. It was a pretty good movie up until that. It feels weird to just have a movie include 9/11 in a serious manner and not really have it be about the event.
Are they
All
supposed
right.
to do it in a joking manner?
I should have.
You make a 9/11 joke, like haha, but like in like it can't be like the whole point.
Okay.
But like you know what I mean? If you're doing like,
All right,
I'll get
Okay.
into it later.
We'll get
I
to
should have mentioned before. I haven't seen any of these movies, so you're gonna have to do a little bit more explaining.
You've never
and I'm
seen
going.
Signs?
Okay, I have seen Signs, but
Okay.
it was
You
like
haven't
20
seen
years ago.
Contact?
It was like 20 years. Yeah,
I
I've
didn't
never
watch
seen
until
Contact.
yesterday.
So I
I have a
have.
Family Guy quote for that one.
I've only seen Signs, and that was about 20 years ago. So I barely remember it. Anyway, moving on to Paul. We got Signs.
Oh, I'm second twice.
You are on the clock.
All right. Well, the plot twist of Signs, if you don't know, it's an alien invasion movie. And what happens at the end? What defeats the alien? Water. So they're coming to harvest human beings. They're invading the planet. And by the way, when they're coming in, they should have looked at that giant ball and been like, hey, what's all that blue stuff? Oh, that's water. Yeah, maybe you should test that stuff out. Oh, it kills us. Let's not invade these people. But no, they decide to go and invade Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix and that family. And they don't know what they're doing. It takes them for freaking ever to get inside that house. And then They're defeated by a freaking super soaker could have defeated them. That is a lame twist ending. And you know what? It's responsible for the bad twist that we've gotten for M. Night Shyamalan from here on out because everybody gave him a pass for that one. Everybody was just like, yeah, the movie's great. The ending sucks. But you know what? It's overall good. No. We should have harped on it a lot more and we wouldn't have gotten the crap we've gotten ever since.
Oh, wow. All right. That was passionate. I love it.
Thank you.
All right. Sydney, Contact. You are on the clock.
The twist in Contact, revealing a second secret machine that was built, is arguably one of the worst plot twists because it completely undercuts the emotional and narrative stakes the film has spent so much time building. The destruction of the first machine, along with the death of Drumlin, was a powerful moment of political sabotage, ideological conflict, and genuine loss. But the instant reveal that a backup machine exists with no prior foreshadowing feels like a cheap narrative shortcut that strips the moment of consequence and tension. It robs the story of its realism and replaces earned drama with a convenient spectacle, making it seem like the writers couldn't figure out how to resolve the conflict organically. Instead of deepening the film's exploration of faith, science, and sacrifice, the twist sidesteps the core questions and gives the protagonist a free pass to continue the mission, ultimately weakening the impact of everything that came before it.
Paul, I love how you brought the dictionary again this week.
Webster's dictionary right here.
He's coming prepared. My man's coming prepared, and I love it.
Word college kids.
I don't.
Yeah, what word? Consequence?
Yeah. I immediately forgot the word you said that I was looking up.
That's all right.
Ideological?
I think that was it.
All right. Moving on to our rebuttal round. Danny, you're on the clock.
Okay, I didn't get through all my notes the first time. My twist makes the top 10 of every list of worst plot twists online. I did my research, and here you can actually look this word up. There was for the first time in my life that I was befuddled.
That's an easy word.
What do you have?
Look that up.
Well, I don't know. Water, for science. Water's actually, it has a lot of meaning as to the weakness of the aliens, since Mel Gibson's whole arc in the movie is regaining his faith in Christ. And in who turns it, he turns water into wine. He walks on water, etc. Contact, I don't really see it being as a plot twist. I see it more of like a Deus Ex Machina, like, oh, we fixed the problem kind of thing. I can't really say much about Contact because it kind of just it flowed in the movie for me. It's just like problem A, like there's a problem, they fix it. For science, it's not even Shyamalan's worst twist. Like there's the village, there's the happening.
Hey, the village is good.
Shut up.
I like the village.
I mean, you're a very lovely person.
Wow.
You're looking good today. Yeah, you lose some weight and
Stop.
You get a haircut.
Mistrial.
I don't accept compliments. Paul, you're on the clock.
Well, screw you.
I know my worth.
Anyway, you say it's not even Shyamalan's worst twist, but it was his best movie with a bad twist, okay? And it is the first bad twist because before that he had Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, both outstanding movies. He got a little too big for his bridges, so he made this movie. And yeah, it is a lot about God and faith and all that. Okay, why isn't it, if it's so much about that, why isn't it holy water that kills them? But it's just regular tap water that really gets them. Plus, they're afraid of wood, which is also kind of stupid. A literal baseball bat is what defeats them. These aliens suck, okay? They were made fun of in Scary Movie 3. All right. Oh, I didn't say anything about your two movie. That's what this round is about. Remember Me may have been bad at the time. I think time heals all wounds. If it was made today, people wouldn't be as up in arms about it. And with Contact, I didn't even know what the twist was until you just told me. Like it just happened, and I was like, okay, this movie continues. That's like 40 minutes left in the movie. How's that a twist?
That's why it sucks. Any twist, like plot twist, can be any twist of narrative.
Your chance.
She's got a point there.
I'm just saying, like, you're saying it's not a plot twist, but yes, it is a plot twist.
I was kind of crunched on time at that point, to be fair.
Fair point.
Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be arguing.
All right. Sydney, you're on the clock.
Both Signs and Remember Me deliver plot twists that elevate their narratives by recontextualizing everything that came before them in emotionally powerful ways.
You don't know what recontextualize
In Signs,
means?
the twist reveals that the family's personal struggles and quirks, once seen as random or tragic, were integral to their survival, reinforcing the film's central theme of faith, purpose, and interconnectedness. It transforms a suspenseful alien movie into a deeply human one about healing and belief. Meanwhile, Remember Me uses its twist to shift a quiet, character-driven drama into a haunting reflection on the fragility of life. By revealing Tyler's presence in the Twin Towers on 9/11 only at the end, the film reframes his story as one of countless lives abruptly cut short, giving deeper resonance in his journey of love, forgiveness, and redemption. In both films, the twists are not just surprises, they're emotional revelations that bring meaning and weight to their individual stories.
There it is. All right. Before we get into this free-for-all, I want a little more backstory on some of these movies. So let's just go around, starting with Paul. I want some more background on your movie, just so I can get a better framework.
Okay, so basically explain it to somebody who's never seen it before.
Hey,
Got it.
Thanks for the plug.
Signs is basically, it stars Mel Gibson. He's a man, a former man of God who has lost his faith because his wife was murdered in a car accident by M. Night Shyamalan. That might sound like a joke, but he literally plays the character that kills his wife.
I forgot about that.
Literally plays him.
Ooh, I can use my Family Guy quote for mine.
Okay, great. Good for you. Anyway. So then what happens? An alien invasion. They make crop circles in his on his land. They make the animals go insane. At the end, they come to the house. But you know what they discover? That if you board up the doors and windows, they're going to have trouble getting in. And it takes them a long ass time. All they have to do is wait in the basement one night. And then all of a sudden they hear over the radio, the invaders, they're basically defeated. And then like, okay, let's go up. And then they find a couple aliens, pour some water on them, beat them with a baseball bat. Guess what? Movie over. And his faith is restored. How? Well, it's because he's like, well, God is protecting us. God made my daughter have trouble finishing glasses of water. So we had to leave it there. And that's what got poured on the aliens.
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
Everything happens
My
for a
son
reason,
has
dude.
asthma, so he didn't die when the alien tried to, murder him.
Everything
But
happens
here's
for
the
a
Your
thing.
wife's last words, too.
Oh, yeah, his wife's psychic, too. So I guess Shyamalan wants to be Stephen King all of a sudden. Tell him to swing away. That was his last words. Tell him to swing away. She was referring to Joaquin Phoenix, Mel Gibson's brother. When the time comes, tell him to swing away. And he realizes, oh, he's a former baseball player. Grab your bat and swing away. And that's how they beat up the alien. So I don't know how exactly that restores one's faith in God, because the reason you lost faith in the first place doesn't change. Your wife is still dead.
Damn.
So I guess the Lord works in mysterious ways. Yeah, he's dead, but guess what? If an alien invasion ever happens, I'll give you plenty of water and wood to work with.
All right, nothing better than faith, God, and baseball. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
America.
Moving on to Sydney. Let's get some more context to Contact.
I will be explaining it a bit, and then I have a Family Guy quote for you guys.
Well, I'm
Excellent.
always all down for a Family Guy quote.
I know. This is what made me think of the twist, because Family Guy brought up how bad it was.
You want a Family Guy quote?
I do.
What the twist? Oh, wait, that's Robot Chicken, isn't
Yeah, I was about to say, that's not Family Guy. So basically, it's a boring movie. I will say that for me personally, but they basically have to build a space machine to contact aliens, and the aliens like sent the machine through computer code or something. I don't know. I saw this movie a while ago.
Is
but
it aliens or a higher power?
Yes, both. I don't remember. So
drink
basically
lots
the
of water.
machine would put you into like a wormhole, and then
my
it would
movie.
transport you there. And then there's like religious groups that don't agree with this, so they blow up the first machine, and then all hope is lost. But here comes the Family Guy quote. This comes from the episode where they're recreating movies, and they're recreating Misery. And Stewie is Kathy Bates' character, and Brian's in a wheelchair. So basically, he wants Brian to remake the story, and Brian just brings back this character with a child's wish when he recreates the story that for Stewie. So this is what Stewie brings up to compare it to that. So they spent $1 trillion building this mile-high space machine, and Jake Busey blows it up. So now they're all like, oh no, we can't use the space machine. But then this other guy is like, hey, it just so happens I built another identical $1 trillion space machine at my own expense on the other side of the world. And we're supposed to believe no one noticed that? Well, I stood up in the theater and I said, no, you can't go into space You can't go into space because the machine already got blown up by Jake Cock-a-Doodie Busey.
Shut up and sit down.
Okay.
So it is a plot twist.
Okay.
Literally, Stewie says it.
All right, Danny. Remember me.
Yeah, I certainly remember this movie for how jarring the rug is just pulled out from under you. The whole movie is about Robert Pattinson dealing with the death of the suicide of his brother. He is angry and then he ends up stopping a fight in the street. But then he pisses off the police officer who's dealing with it because he's just so angry at the world and angsty.
Because the wife was murdered?
His brother.
No, his brother.
No, the cop was angry.
The cop's wife was years ago. Like
yeah, that's why the
10
cop
years
is angry.
Yeah. So it's basically the whole story. And then he meets this girl in the cafeteria at college or whatever. And it was kind of like a bet, like with his roommate said, hey, that's the cop's wife or daughter. You should get back at him by, having sex with his daughter. That would make him feel really
Having
good.
sex with his wife, that'd be a real revenge story.
Ugh. And then, but basically they fall in love.
Glad I didn't watch this movie.
It's actually a pretty good movie up until the whole point of the movie is to get
So what else happens?
Broken people. It's all like they I don't know. It's like a
family
standard
drama.
Dramatic romance movie.
You don't get along with his dad.
And then basically he makes up with his dad. He cares for his sister. He's like, you need to care for your family. He finishes that arc with his dad. They get back together after a breakup, and when she finds out about the bet, it's an overall good movie. And then it's explaining what they're going for is like it's such a small, intimate movie about a bunch of different character dynamics, and then all of a sudden, after everything is said and done, it's like the writers are just like, how do we make this the most tragic ending? But like in the most stupid way possible.
Oh boy.
Where they say 9/11. And then so like it's implied obviously that he dies in the terrorist attacks.
Yeah, he's up on like the 100th floor.
Yeah. And like it's
He could have lived.
Yeah. Just go down the fire escape. But yeah, it's so incredibly jarring to go from a small movie about these different character dynamics that are really intimate and really emotionally charged, just to be this giant thing that is so traumatic for America, and to have it just kind of be like, it just feels really weird to make 9/11 not the main point of a 9/11 movie. You know what I mean? Or at least tell us it's a 9/11 movie in the beginning.
Did they give us any hints throughout the movie that it takes place in 01?
Yes, they do.
It's just in the summer of 2001.
Okay.
Let's hear. Let's get into it now. Go ahead.
Yeah,
when he's
I was about
having
to say,
dinner
I
with
feel
his
like we're at
father,
free
he
fall.
said as a kid he wanted to dress up as Lou Piniella. Any sports fan knows that Lou Piniella would have been like 65 in 2010 when the movie was released. So Lou Piniella played for the New York Yankees in the 70s, which is around the time he would have been a child.
No, we know it's in 2001, but the fact that
Well, that's what he was asking, if they gave hints. That it was
Why did
2001.
you
wasn't
get
gonna
that
be
from
9/11.
sports? That's a crazy connection.
Yeah.
It's a New York movie.
Nobody has
I
cell
need to be a New York
phones.
sports fan. Anyway, I have a lot to say about your movie. All right, first of all,
It's a good movie up until that.
what's wrong with using real life tragedy to emphasize a point of a
Because
fictional story?
it takes away.
You ever hear of Titanic?
It takes away the entire context.
No, I don't
No,
think it does.
because it's called Titanic. We know what's going to happen in the end. We're prepared.
Okay, so there's no foreshadowing that this is a 9/11 movie. It doesn't focus on the politics, terrorism, or conspiracy. Instead, the film
That's all
itself
afterwards.
becomes a quiet memorial, a story about one of thousands of ordinary lives that ended in an extraordinary tragedy. By holding that twist until the very end, the movie avoids being defined by it. Instead,
But
it
actually
invites the
it
viewer
didn't, though.
to reflect on the entire journey in a new, more touching light.
Okay, but
No.
and also I have another thing to say about your
Because
movie.
now I remember because it's not like it impacted it. Like it changed the entire context in the worst way possible.
You know why the ending is poetic? Because it's an anti-bullying movie. Okay. Why is he there in the World Trade Center on 9/11 to meet with his dad lawyers because he threw a fire extinguisher at his sister's school because a little blonde girl, a little blonde bitch was picking on his sister. If that little blonde girl would shut her damn mouth, he would be alive. And everybody would have been happy in that family.
You're just like
into this movie. I'm like,
Hey, he's debating. He's passionate. Leave him alone.
fucking stupid.
It's called
dude.
the butterfly effect. All right.
also, it doesn't scream twist. It lets the emotional weight hit you slowly, and then it sits with you.
Well-
that lingering impact is part of what makes it good. It makes the tragedy personal.
If you
it
wanna-
reminds viewers that 9/11 wasn't just a historical event, but an intimate loss of thousands of families, each with their own individual stories. For all those people, it was
like-
any normal day.
Here's the
and
thing,
so
though.
they showed that with this movie. It was a normal day for this guy. And he just happened to be there, just like
there's-
everybody else.
there's-
Nobody else had any foreshadowing that terrorism would happen.
All right, go ahead, Danny.
There's movies that do this.
Did you ever talk about
correctly.
9/11 this much on this show?
No.
There's a movie called Stronger with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's about the Boston Marathon bombing. It's about these two couples who like they're both separated, and it's about them getting back together. But it doesn't like just say, oh, by the way, this happens. That's the point of the movie. It's like this. You're
That was a
going in-
true
That's
story,
also
though.
the point of this movie. They just
Yeah.
execute it in a different way. And I think that they executed it well because it holds more weight that way.
And also, like what I said during my take was that if that movie had been made the exact same way now, I don't think people would be up in arms as much because time heals all wounds. All right. It was released less than 10 years after 9/11 happened. All right. There is such a thing as too soon. And I believe that was the case with that movie because I watched it for the first time a couple days ago, and I watched it. I'm like, okay, that was the ending. Okay, 9/11. It happened almost 25 years ago at this point. I understand
That's
it's
so-
still
that's
That
still
doesn't,
an
it doesn't
insane.
make it a bad twist, though.
It's still an insane
All right,
tragedy.
you
I
can
understand
fulfill,
that.
You can fulfill the narrative premise of this. It's a small story, tragic accidents.
If
not an accident, but, like,
Titanic
tragic
was
things
made
happen.
9 years after the boat sank, I think people would have a problem with it.
It's such a massive. In comparison to what the story was. Now it's just like it's just like throwing a wrench. It just
That's
makes
what happened
no
with
fucking
Contact.
sense.
It made no sense for them to have that extra machine.
Right, but it still actually kind of narratively made sense for that to happen.
Speaking of Contact, let's move on to that.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. So with the twist in Contact, it gives the audience a reset button. Instead of dealing with the emotional and political fallout of the sabotage, the story pivots quickly to, oh, no worries, we've got another one. And it also,
I'll be honest, that wasn't even the twist I was prepared to debate. I thought the twist you were going to talk about was that at the end that she all of a sudden just, accepts, like throws away all signs and just like, I'm a believer now. I thought that was going to be
that
the
one
twist
kind
you
of
were
just
debating.
made sense. No, this is the twist where it's the cop out. And it happens in the middle of the movie, but it's still a plot twist. But instead of it being like a satisfying aha moment, it instead feels like as you said,
But the worst
Deus
twist of
ex
all time,
machina.
if you watched it and didn't even catch that, could it possibly be the worst twist of all time?
It obviously was caught again
By
like-
you.
No, the Family
I
Guy
didn't-
quote.
I didn't-
Literally,
I literally
Seth
watched it
MacFarlane.
yesterday, and
Seth
you had to
MacFarlane caught it. Yeah, listen. There's also the twist in yours. You're bringing up specifically the water, but there were multiple twists in your movie.
Like what?
Every
Shyamalan is
single
the one who
thing.
killed his wife.
No, every single
What's a
thing
twist?
being connected. It's not just the water. It's also the baseball bat and the asthma. Like all of that was a cohesive plot twist together.
But not a good one.
It did
I
the
think it
work
was
though.
good.
It had
Again, but the whole thing is like make this man, re-enter his faith in God. But I'm like, okay, but your reason for why you left hasn't changed. Your wife is still dead. Your wife, and then you go to
She's dead, but she gave them a message in her parting
swing
words.
away. She's psychic now.
Listen,
Again, where
it
the hell
turns
did that come
a
from?
tragic,
Things happen.
mysterious moment into prophecy. It shows that what seemed like a meaningless detail was actually crucial, reframing loss and guidance.
Okay, if aliens are freaking attacking us, I'm not going to be like, going to church and praying. I'm going to be swinging a baseball bat. I don't
Also,
think my faith in God
I
is
would
what's
love
going to cause
just
me to
say-
do that.
I would love to also just say that the water isn't just a sci-fi weakness. It ties into the film's themes in a meaningful
But
way.
it's- again,
it feels
it would-
poetic rather than gimmicky. It challenges also many scientific principles that life can't form without water. Instead of making it the element they need to evolve, it became their weakness. And it's also very interesting because some critics argue, why would aliens invade a planet covered in water if water kills them? That's missing the point. Signs isn't a movie about logical...
But it still happens.
It's not a movie about logical aliens. It's a story about grief, loss, and rediscovering belief. The twist aligns with the film's spiritual logic, not hard sci-fi logic. If you accept the film on those terms, the water twist becomes poetic rather than dumb.
Okay, but here's the thing. If
Agreed.
Okay, I'll have to look up plenty of words that you just said. But the problem with that argument is if your whole thing is that like this is rejuvenating your faith in God, why aren't you then blaming God for the freaking aliens that are coming down to Earth?
This shit happens, bro.
It just
All right,
happens.
you're telling me that you think the water twist is worse than the happening where the plants are making the people kill themselves.
No, but Signs is what led to the happening. That's where Shyamalan's bad twist. That's where it all
so
began.
it only got worse.
I just hit the mic twice. I'm sorry.
You were talking about worse.
But The
plot
Happening
twists.
was never a good movie to begin with. The thing about Signs is that it was a really good movie leading up to that. And then the ending just like, bam, fell flat right on its nose.
No, it connected everything that you've watched in that movie. I mean, think about it. Bo's habit of leaving half-drunk glasses of water all around the house
it's set
seems
up.
like a quirky personality trait at first, but it's actually a very good way of utilizing Chekhov's gun technique, which is a storytelling concept where any element in a narrative, such as object or detail, might have a purpose or significance later in the story. And that happened with every character.
They're aliens
Every
that are afraid
character
of
had a
water.
purpose.
Okay, another movie came out that same year with an alien that was afraid of water. Lilo and Stitch. These aliens are about as threatening as little
We're
old
not
Stitch.
talking about Lilo and Stitch.
I'm
It's
just
the
saying,
same
We're
year.
talking about
if your water is
science.
weakness, it's
don't
really
think
hard
it's
to
the
be
same
afraid of you.
And we haven't talked about Contact like at all.
Because it's not really a twist.
It is
It's
a twist.
just kind of like...
No,
Also,
a plot,
like, what did it ruin?
Who are
It wasn't
you
that good to
define
begin with.
Plot twist. Look at plot twists. Or no, there's no plot twist. Like on
Plot twist.
Webster's dictionary, you'd have to Google it.
Webster 6
That's not a word, it's a phrase.
graduation.
But listen, no, it definitely is. Like, okay, one of the themes is humanity's collective attempt to reach out to something greater through skepticism.
Right, but you
belief,
admitted
and
that-
Shut up.
The first,
I know what skepticism
The
is.
first machine is destroyed by religious fanaticism. Or the first machine being destroyed by religious fanaticism is thematically powerful. It shows the tension between faith and progress.
Okay.
The second machine twist sidesteps that conflict rather than addressing it head on. It skips over the opportunity to explore how humanity responds to the loss of the first machine and rebuilds, choosing instead to say, oh, we already have a backup. The thing with your movies that you're failing to realize is your ending was thought out. They weren't just like, oh, we're going to throw that at the end. No, it was a
came off
tribute
like,
to 9/11.
By the way, 9/11.
But at the same time, Signs, that was carefully, like, they knew exactly how they were going to kill the aliens throughout the whole movie. They kept putting
Right,
those
they were
signs in the
building
movie.
to
This
something
looks
leading
like
up
they
to
were
it.
just sitting in the writer's room going, how do we, now that the first machine's blown up, how do we get a second one? Oh, that random trillionaire at the beginning of the movie, he had built one
What?
across
Wait,
the
so you're
world,
saying that
and
he was in the
nobody
beginning of the
noticed
movie
it.
and
What
set
did
him
it?
up?
What did it ruin? Even you had just admitted that your movie is long and boring, which it is. It's not that great of a movie to begin with. So what
I
did it
like-
really ruin? Same with your movie. The dialogue in
We're
your
not
movie is
talking about
freaking
the
awful.
quality of the movie.
Performances
We're
are pretty
talking
good.
about-
What are you talking about? It's great.
Robert Pattinson's character changes from scene to scene. He's a brooding bad boy in one scene, and then he's a socially awkward dork in the next
But
scene.
the conversation isn't whether or not it's a good movie. The
But
conversation
the worst
is about
twist
how
should
the
be
plot
coming from a
twist
movie that had so
is
much potential
useless.
to be great. Mine is the only one that was really good leading up to that, and then bam, ruined everything
I'd
at
have
the
to
end.
very
Oh,
much
yeah.
disagree with that.
My movie
Your
would have
movie
gone...
sucked from the
movie-
beginning, and your movie was long and boring to the point where when the twist came, I didn't even give a crap.
Remember Me would have gone down in history as like a Crash, like 2.0. I think,
Whoa,
like,
whoa,
It would have
whoa.
ended up with like a 40% of Rotten Tomatoes at best.
Because the
Contact?
9/11 thing.
Contact is also
No, it has worse. I'm saying that even without the 9/11 thing, it would have been 40% at best.
No, it was...
Daniel,
I
what are you
think
trying
it
to say about Crash?
was- Well, no, Crash...
What are you trying to say about Crash?
What, Crash is
We're not talking about
I know.
Crash.
I know.
Let's
It's
not
trying
get
to.
We have three
We already
movies
talked
that we're
about
talking
9/11
about, and
enough.
these two keep getting off topic.
I know. I can see
Off
that.
topic. What did I do?
I'm trying to get notes, and I'm just like,
No,
okay.
it's
Oh, those
okay.
two, okay.
It's the okay. It's a decently good movie. When I watched it the first time, I thought it was good.
Okay,
I just
okay,
didn't
okay.
feel like rewatching
All right,
it.
guys.
Should the twist
But-
be cut out? Yeah, sure. Like
The twist should have
whole
been
thing-
thought out more.
Okay, let's get into
Same thing with the 9/11 thing. Okay.
let's get into our closing arguments. Let's start with Sydney.
While Remember Me and Signs deliver emotionally resonant plot twists that reframe their narratives with deeper meaning and thematic clarity, Contact stumbles with a twist that feels hollow and unearned. In Remember Me, the shocking 9/11 reveal adds tragic weight to an otherwise intimate story, turning personal growth into a haunting reflection on life's fragility. Signs cleverly ties seemingly random character traits and traumas into a moment of revelation that reinforces its themes of faith, purpose, and interconnectedness. In contrast, Contact's sudden reveal of a second secret machine feels like a lazy narrative reset that undermines the emotional stakes, disregards character development, and relies on convenience over storytelling integrity. While Remember Me and Signs use their twists to deepen the impact and redefine everything that came before, Contact's twist cheapens the journey, making it one of the most disappointing turns in a film that otherwise aimed for something profound.
Before we move on, how did Contact end? Just out of curiosity.
It ended with her accepting God.
Okay,
So
I
she
forgot
went.
about that.
She went to go to the aliens. Went through the wormhole, and then basically she talked to the aliens, and they ended up being like
Her father.
like divine beings, kind of like her father. Like after death, basically, it's a little. It gets a little more.
She gets
like,
back and
religious-y.
she has to testify in front of Congress if they don't believe her. And then she like basically like accepts Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that specifically. I'm
No,
specifically.
I know.
talking
Yeah, I
about
was
the
just trying
plot
to
twist.
get more framework. All right.
Yeah.
That's the ending I thought I was debating here.
All right.
You should have asked for clarity.
Danny,
Got to look up
That's
fragility
my
though.
name.
you're on the clock.
Okay. Not Remember Me. It was such an intimate study on family dynamics and relationships, and turning that legacy of that particular story that was going really well. It did almost. I think it did everything almost perfectly, and just making that into just another 9/11 tragedy. It takes away the emotional resonance and agency of these specific characters. It turns the movie into more of like, I don't want to say political statement, but just something bigger than it was ever meant to be. And it just if you're talking about 9/11, such a massive event that took place in history, it feels weird to not put the emphasis on that event. Maybe have like a crash type story where it's different perspectives, but you know it's going to lead up to 9/11. Like you see it coming and you understand that that's what it's about.
Gotcha. Okay. Paul, you're on the clock.
Well, that would lessen the tragedy of it. Like I said, your movie wasn't very good to begin with. Performances were really good. Writing was terrible. All right, they did drop signals that they were in 2001 throughout the movie. And again, anti-bullying. What do you got? Why are you for bullying? You know, he wouldn't be there if that little girl would just shut her mouth. Okay, that little girl should be ashamed of herself. She caused his death. Fuck her.
I thought he was going to beat her up in the movie.
Your movie again. I didn't even know the twist was happening when it happened.
Sucks
It's a
so
Deus Ex
bad.
Machina, and it's annoying. It's an
is
annoying
Deus Ex
trope.
Machina?
It's an annoying trope, but that doesn't ruin a movie by any means. My movie, it makes the whole villain of the movie non-threatening, and also, like I said, it was the only one of the three where it was a really good movie leading up to that, and the ending fell flat, and it's responsible for a whole career of bad plot twists because nobody called him out in that moment.
Disagree.
Okay.
You're getting so intense.
Okay.
Yeah, your plot twist was literally framed by the whole movie. You can't say it's a bad plot twist because then it's just a terrible movie.
All right.
just-
All
I
right.
just said it made the villain so non-threatening, which it did.
All right. So
I
I'm
disagree with
threatening.
your
gonna
argument.
say this right now. I don't have a winner right now, so I'm just gonna go through my notes and I'm gonna pick one because you guys all argued very good for this.
Give me the Jeopardy theme.
All right. Let's just go down the list, starting with Remember Me. All right. So 9/11 happens at the end, but I like
Why though?
Take
Yes,
a drink every
so
time we
why?
mention 9/11.
because I like the points that Sydney brought up about it being a haunting reflection of, what actually happened on 9/11. It leaves a lingering impact. And Danny, you were saying how it's a really good story leading up to that. Really good dialogue and like the things that happen with the suicide of his brother, the suicide of the cops, or the death of the cops.
It's the murder
Wife.
of his
wife, whatever it is.
The cop's wife got murdered.
Okay.
Martha Plimpton, by the way.
Okay.
And Meghan Markle was the bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got royalty. It can't be that bad.
All right. Moving on to signs. The aliens hate water and wood. Okay. So.
It literally kills them.
So there's a lot of God stuff going on where he's protecting us, water into wine, that kind of stuff. The aliens apparently can't touch that. I guess I don't. And then the whole Chekhov's gun argument, where everything is leading up to what actually happens in the movie. Contact. The second secret machine, which is not what Paul thought was going to be the twist.
When that happens, there's still like 40 minutes left in the movie.
It's the equivalent of me getting the wrong Halloween movie.
But all right, so it undercuts everything made to that point, according to Sydney. Let's see. It's building a machine to contact aliens, and then there's the second machine. Tension between
Years to
faith
make.
and progress. And it takes away all the character development of the movie up to that point. Okay,
Yeah, McConaughey is such a great character.
let's
in that
see
movie.
here.
I wanted to punch him in the face.
All right.
Signs is Remember Me is a very shocking thing. If I was to watch that movie, I would also be like, "What the fuck?
you say you would
Why
be
is that
befuddled?
happening?" Signs, I guarantee I would probably hate it just because aliens hate water and wood. What the fuck? Why is this a twist? Okay. And Contact, the second secret machine. I think I'd just be confused at that point. It's like, what? Why wasn't that mentioned earlier?
After that happens, you get over it and move on. Like,
I gotta pick one here. Oh boy, these are all good arguments. I really don't know. Okay,
We befuddled him.
it has literally befuddled me, and I wrote down befuddled under remember me.
how do you spell that?
BEF. How do you think it sounds?
Okay.
Just like it sounds.
Sound it out.
I don't know what it is.
I think I'm going to eliminate Contact. Unfortunately, sorry, Sydney.
Seth MacFarlane would be disappointed.
I know
in you.
he would be disappointed in
Well,
me.
before you make an answer, did you know that Seth MacFarlane actually was supposed to be on one of the 9/11
Yes.
planes?
So
he
Mark
was
Wahlberg.
supposed to be on one of the ones
Mark
Crazy.
Wahlberg
coming from
was also-
Boston.
But
yes,
he brings up the twist from Contact and not Remember Me in that scene.
yeah, it's probably too emotionally traumatic for him, thinking that he almost was. Anyway, continue.
Oh boy. Okay. My pick for the worst plot twist. Signs.
Yes!
I'm sorry, Danny.
And the episode
I
now.
know it's a very shocking ending, but it seems like it's a really good story up to that point.
Exactly.
I get your point. I get it.
No, it makes sense. Again, like everybomes lives were the same that day.
But
They
it
didn't
was
have any
a
foreshadowing
big
of that event.
thing. It probably would make sense in
Anti-bullying.
context. And then I was also looking up reviews on all these movies too, and trying to get a framework. And it was like, okay, Signs is people
They
don't,
talk about
people
the ending
don't
a
like
lot,
it. People really don't like
not
it.
gonna lie
It's
though,
because
after
of
More
the
people
ending.
seem to
After
like
all the
Remember Me
research
too,
did, like-
and I'm just like, okay.
More people liked it than I thought,
well,
honestly.
not even for argument's sake. Like even after all the research I did, because I didn't watch the movie, I just looked at a lot of reviews and stuff. I still think it's a decent twist because again, like the whole movie builds up to it.
Again, I think if it was
What,
released
Signs?
like 10 years
Yeah.
after it was, I don't think
yours.
people would have been
Yours is still a
as
decent twist too.
like
I don't know,
crazy
like,
about it.
I like the idea of
I
it.
convinced myself with my arguments that these are actually good twists because I didn't have any like preconceived notion about them.
Maybe, all right. Here, maybe if they just had one scene of Robert Pattinson going into the World Trade Center, like just at the doors.
But then you know what's coming
yeah,
Also-
because then you're like, oh, you're in the back of the head, in the back of your head, thinking,
you-
okay,
because they
this
mentioned
could-
Labor Day in the movie. If he goes in the World Trade Center and then in Labor Day, you're like, oh, I know what's happening that
If you
week.
think about it, it's kind of cute. All of our movies connect because weird aliens that aren't like your
Also, like the religious
weird
thing.
like
Faith.
bad guys,
Yeah.
the religious thing, and then also terrorism.
Very and
Because Contact
this-
was
MacFarlane.
the first machine was blown
Peanut
up
butter
by a
jelly
terrorist
right there.
attack.
yeah, and this topic is one we can reuse too. So there are a lot of bad plot twists out there. These are just 3 of them. So we're Duel the Debates. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with @Duel the Debates. I'm Dan.
I am Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was, my letterbox and serialized at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. Would Sydney or PK like to list their
Paul.
socials?
Paul.
You can call
Paul.
me PK. As long as you
Sorry.
introduce me with Paul, I don't care.
I'm Sydney. You don't
did
want
last
to find
time.
me anywhere.
I'm Paul. If you want to find her, find me first.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, we got one more week of you two. So until next time, we'll see you next time.